So yeah, basically I'm just continuing the rant of the last video. And I want to eat an apple real quick. Okay. So hungry. So like, yeah. So a lot of people they think they like constructive criticism, but most of this constructive criticism is what is called a double bind. And a double bind, you can look it up on Wikipedia, but you'll probably just get confused. I mean, I was confused when I read about it too. But basically, it's a technique used in hypnosis to hypnotize people. And what you do is you put a negative message at the same time as a positive message, which confuses people, and then in their confused state, they're more suggestible. They're in a confused state is basically a hypnotized state. And then when people are hypnotized, they do whatever you want them to do. So then you put in the message. Whatever you're thinking in your mind, it goes like directly to their mind, you know? And that's a lot easier if you confuse them first. But, and usually you'll see on Wikipedia, if you look this up, this is like, people who do this are usually in a place of authority over you. So the main people who do this to you are your parents or your teachers or your boss. But everyone does it to each other, honestly, but it's a lot easier to do it if you have that authority. But this is way easier to understand with examples. So I'm just going to give a bunch of examples because, yeah, this vlog is for people who have suicidal problems or any type of problems, really, if they're suffering from something like anorexia, drug problems, violence problems, or like cutting or anything. So, yeah. And so what you have to watch out for is the double binds, because that's where all this negative stuff is coming from. I mean, it's coming from the dominators, but the dominators hypnotize you, basically, into doing this stuff. That's how you control people. You hypnotize them. So, let me give some examples. For example, a teacher says, like, you're so smart, but you don't work hard enough. This is a double bind. And a lot of people think like, oh, what a nice teacher. He really cares about his students. It usually doesn't work like that. He says, you're smart, so you feel good about yourself. Then he says, you're too lazy, so you feel bad about yourself. So he says this at the exact same time, and then you're all confused and stuff. But the image in this teacher's mind of you, his opinion of you in this moment, his or her opinion of you in this moment is like, you will not be successful. No matter how smart you are, your life is going to be hard. Like, it's the image of like, you're going to fail. So he sends the image of failure to your mind. So maybe when he tells you that, you feel kind of good about it in a weird way. But then afterwards, when you try to do your homework, when you go home and you say, okay, teacher called me lazy today, so I gotta do my homework. But then you connect to his mind again. When you say like, okay, I'm about to do my homework, you connect to his mind because he hypnotized you to associate schoolwork, like academic stuff, with the teacher, with him. So when you connect to his mind, you remember it's not that you remember it, but you connect to his mind, and the image of your failure, like you're a failure, you're never going to be successful in school or in life, goes to your mind, and then you just give up on it. You say, okay, I don't want to do homework, I'm lazy, because that was his message to you. That was the main point of it all. That's what he hypnotized you into thinking and labeled you as a lazy student. So then you say, screw this homework, I'm going to watch TV or go on YouTube, watch videos like these. But if you watch this video instead of doing homework, you made a good choice. But but do your homework. But yeah, like, people really like to say, like, constructive criticism is you have to say a compliment first and then say what they're doing wrong. But and I'm not saying it's bad every single time, as long as the person who's giving you advice actually thinks highly of you and really respects you. But I'm saying that most people probably don't respect anyone, because most people think they're the shit and they're better than everyone. I mean, they don't act like it, some of them do, but most of them think they're better than you, so don't trust them. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so like, if you really analyze the example that I just gave, the confusion part of it, the part that really hypnotizes you. He says, you're smart. Now, smart means like success, especially when a teacher says it. Like, if you're smart, you're going places. So then he says, you'll be successful. And then he says, but you're lazy, but you don't work hard enough, which means you won't be successful. So it's like he's saying one thing and then he says the exact opposite, and that's what confuses you. I can give another example of this. Like, your parents tell you, you're so pretty, or handsome, or whatever. Like, all the girls or boys should be busting down the door trying to get a date with you. But why do you wear all the black or something? It's such a shame. So then, yeah, that's why you don't have a girlfriend, basically. They're trying to tell you. You're so beautiful, but actually you're ugly, and that's why you don't get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They say the same thing, or they say the opposite thing at the same time. And the end result is, like, they're doing this to stay superior to you and try to tell you they know better than you. So then, at first they say you're so beautiful, and then they say, like, your clothes or whatever makes you ugly. And, but the end message is, like, nobody likes you because you look stupid. And so then it makes you feel bad about yourself, and then when you feel bad about yourself, it's hard to look in the mirror. And when it's hard to look in the mirror, like, you don't even want to try to look good anymore because you think there's no point. It hurts too much to even try anymore. But yeah, this is all for them to control you. And then, like, you associate it, just like with the teacher example, you associate trying to look good with the person who gave you this double bind, what is the positive and negative, so that when you go shopping for clothes, or when you try to groom yourself, or you think you want to groom yourself, you remember them calling you ugly. And, like, it stirs up emotions inside of you, so you think, like, they're wrong or something. Or even if you think they're right or they're wrong, it doesn't matter. Right and wrong, there is no right and wrong in this world. The fact that you're connecting to them means they're sending you the image that you are ugly, or you don't know how to dress yourself or groom yourself. so that the end result is that you are ugly. And yeah, so the reason why I'm talking so much about this is because, like, if you can realize it, the second they do this to you, when someone says, like, there's so many examples, but it's hard to think of it because I don't usually go around doing this to people. But, like, you're so cool, but nobody understands you. You know? What a shame, that sort of shit. Like, you have so many good ideas, but you're too shy to talk about them. And if you say in that second, that's a double bind, you can cut off the connection and think, okay, this person is trying to mess with me, so I'm not going to listen to their crap. And that doesn't mean you have to be enemies with them. Actually, if you start to hate them, that will only strengthen your connection to them. You just have to realize you can't trust their words. Most people use their words like weapons, and they put a smile on their face when they do it. Like, oh, you have so many good ideas inside your mind, but you're just too shy to talk about them. Like you have so many good ideas, that means, like, people should listen to you, and you should have charisma and stuff like this. And then they say, but actually, nobody listens to you because you're too shy, you can't say your ideas. You know, it's like complete opposite. Or there's just too many examples, but they're actually kind of complicated and hard to talk about. Like, you have so much talent, but you just don't have any passion or something like that. Like, basically, it's a success-failure thing in every time. You have talent, that means you're going to be successful. You have no passion, that means you're not going to be successful. Then you get confused, and then whenever you try to do whatever they're talking about, whether it's music or studying or, I don't know, dance or anything, sports, whatever, then when you try to do it, you remember them, and then they mess you up. Their image of failure, because they're trying to tell you basically you're a failure at life. Then you try to seek their approval when you're doing what they do. You try to prove to them, no, I'm not, I do have passion, or I'm not lazy, or I'm not ugly, or whatever. But the harder you try to prove to them, you'll never be able to prove it to them, because what they're doing to you every time they think of you is putting you under them. So no matter what you do, they're going to criticize you for it constructively. Like, I would rather someone come up to me and say, you're ugly, than say, like, you're pretty, why do you wear such clothes like that? Oh, it's such a shame, or something like that. I would much rather them come up to me and say, frankly, you're not my type, I don't like the way you look. Then I'd be like, okay, well, you know, can't argue over taste, you know, and then it would be done. But people like to pretend they have love for other people, and they're trying to teach them something, you know, useful in their life, but actually they're trying to sabotage their lives. And like, it's just, everyone does this all the time, so you really have to notice, especially parents or people who have authority over you. They tell you to do one thing, but then if you do what they tell you to do, they say, like, you did it wrong, or like, why did you do that, you know? They say, like you go to the kitchen and eat an apple, and then your mom comes out and says, like, why didn't you ask me before you eat that? So then you think, oh shit, I have to ask her before I eat anything in this house. So then you start going to ask her, you know, like, can I eat this? Can I eat that? And then she's like, geez, you're so annoying. Like, why can't you think for yourself? You know? And it's like, huh? You tell me I have to get your permission, but then at the same time you tell me I have to think for myself. Yeah, the think for yourself thing is a lot of older people tell you have to be independent. You have to think for yourself. But at the same time, they're telling you how to think. You know? They're saying, follow my instructions. But actually, think for yourself. It doesn't make... That's a double bind too, because no matter what you do, you're wrong. No matter if you think for yourself and do it your own way, they're going to say you did it the wrong way. If you follow them and everything they do, you know, they say like, why aren't you creative enough to think of it on your own? This is just a superiority game, and it's to make you angry at them so that they form an attachment to them and you think you need them as a standard in your life, but actually, like, they're only hurting you. Yeah, like, I had, they're really evil about this too. It's so evil. Okay, this is gonna talk about people, but, like, I lived with this, I lived in Japan, and I lived with this Japanese person who said, like, I want us to be on an equal level, and we can talk about, you know, whatever, and just everything is equal, like, you don't have to show me the respect or whatever. And then, like, so then I try to speak, like, on an equal level, which in Japanese they have, like, different levels of different, like, words you choose to say to show respect, and it's kind of like an intricate system. So then I would say, okay, if I use the polite language and it's too polite, then I'm not following her orders, basically, to be equal and to be chill out, you know. And she says like, oh, you're too polite all the time, just be equal. But then when I try to just be straightforward and say how I feel on a normal, like, friendly language, then she says like, that's so disrespectful, like, to your superior. And I'm like, what? Okay, so I can't speak to you on an equal level, and then when I try to show respect, then I'm showing too much respect, and it's like, so then I basically can't talk to you, but then if I don't talk to you, then I'm ignoring you, and then you get angry about that, and then so then I try to talk to her even more so that she doesn't get pissed off that I'm ignoring her. And then the next thing is, like, you always bother me too much. Just leave me alone. That sort of, like, And I'm not trying to bash her or anything. I'm just saying this is how people work. People have too much pain in their lives. They can't handle it by themselves, so they need a victim, basically. They need a scapegoat to put all their anger into so that they can forget about their own problems. And I think in their minds, as long as they're not a dominator, in their minds they're thinking, I'm helping this person, I'm teaching this person how to be better. But that in itself is bad, because they think this person needs my help because they're such a failure to begin with. If I don't help them, they're completely lost. So the more you involve yourself with these people, and then you fall under the idea, because of your connection to them, you fall under the idea that you are such a failure, you need them to guide your life. But the more you let them guide your life, the more you let them push you down under them so that they can feel like they're better, because they feel bad about themselves and they need a victim. They need a scapegoat so that they feel superior. And so, like, that's why you see older people doing this, parents doing this, teachers doing this so much. Like, children are the easiest victims. People who have no power in this world are the easiest victims. They wouldn't have much success if they just go out on the street looking down. Well, they do go out on the street looking down on everyone, but you can't just go up to random people and... Well, you can, but... What was I saying? So yeah, the Doublebinds. You have to watch out for this. And, like, they'll seem so nice at first. Like, okay, I make the YouTube videos, and then they say, like... Someone comments, well, I turn off the comments just for this purpose, but someone comments like, wow, that's a really good video, but, like, I don't know, and then they say some bullshit, and then it's like, fuck you, man. But anyway, but most people, they take this as constructive criticism, but honestly, there's nothing constructive about it. It's destructive criticism. Like, if everyone was just straight and said, like, I don't like your video, or I do like your video, you know, then you wouldn't have to be hypnotized by all their bullshit. You can just see statistically how many people like my video, how many people don't. But even that doesn't matter, because, like, just because half the people don't like your video, or a bunch of people do like it, doesn't mean it's good, you know? Like, for example, McDonald's is the most probably popular restaurant in the whole world. Fast food restaurant, but still, it's the most popular restaurant in the world. Does it mean it's good? Is it good for you? Is it good food? No. Everyone loves it because it's shit. Everyone loves shit. You know? Like, the most popular shows on TV. I don't know. The news is a bunch of lies, you know? Like, just because something's popular doesn't mean it's good anyway. So, but at least if people were straight up about it, then, yeah, then you could at least just see statistically without having to get wrapped up in their, you know, having a strong connection to them and they're pretending like they want to help you when actually they're just putting you down. But yeah, Doublebinds. Let me think of some more examples. Because it's easier to know if you just hear the examples of it. Like the one like, you're such a nice girl. Or you're such a nice boy. But people don't understand you. Like, everyone takes advantage of you. Yeah, like, people don't understand. If you're so nice, then you should have success getting friends, you know, and being popular. But if no one understands you, then you will have no success getting friends, and nobody will like you. But the end result is you think nobody likes you. And then if you think nobody likes you, you try to compensate for that by acting nicer. But in this world, people don't like you for being nice. You know, people usually pretend to like you because they want what you have. But if you're going around giving everyone a free lunch, like, no one wants to be that person, holding the door open while everyone rushes past them. Like, that's not how you actually make friends. Like, the people who are most popular are assholes. But, yeah, I cursed too much. Yeah, everything is a double bind, honestly. But you have to watch out for it. But the more you watch out for it, the more you see, like, the people who you trusted most, who were your best advice givers, were actually sabotaging you this whole time. Because, I mean, if you have the suicidal problems or the alcohol problems or what have you, like, obviously someone is trying to sabotage you in a really sneaky way. And this is the double bind stuff. So, like, let me think. I'll try to give an example from my life. Like, example, there are too many examples to choose from. But like I had one friend who, like, I would try to talk about, like, discuss serious intellectual stuff. And I'm really into, like, psychology, hypnosis type stuff. I'm a translator, like, this is not my job or anything, or my major or anything. But, it's like a hobby for me to try to, you know, hypnotize people, per se. But in a good way. And he's like, he told me, like, you have the theory, but you don't have the tools. You have to go to school to get the tools to use your theories, you know? Which is a double bind, because, you know, you have the theory, you know things very well, you're intelligent. That means I'm going to have success. And then I don't have the tools. I don't know what I'm doing, basically. So I'm not having success. And it's basically this person went to college, and he's looking down on me because I never went to college. And he's trying to say, like, I'm unsuccessful. But why does he target me and try to say I'm unsuccessful? Because he's unsuccessful. Because he went to college and now he's almost like 30 years old and he still lives at his parents' house and he, like, can't support himself on his own and never really had an impact on the academic world. But he wants to tell me that I will never be successful because if he can't be successful, nobody can. You know, that's what people do. But I thought this guy was my friend. I thought he was trying to help me by encouraging me to go to school. But the more he talked that bullshit, the more I felt like I can't go to school, basically. And I can't ever have success in my life. But he's not a dominator, he's not the devil or anything. But this is why I say it's like evil is like an infectious disease, because I'm pretty sure one of his professors is a devil, is a dominator, and he makes the guy unsuccessful. And he makes him feel like the same thing he told me, like, you know, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to fail. And then he feels like, oh my god, I'm going to fail. And then he's scared. And then he has to take a victim so that he feels better. Yeah. Or another example, everyone does this to me. Everyone does it to each other. And like, you can do it not even trying to do it. It's not everyone. Most of the people, they do it because of they're reacting to their own problems. So I don't really even blame them. I just don't listen to them. I'm not going to attack them. I just cut myself off from them. But like, but the original source of this problem, these insecurities that make people try to feel superior, are the dominators. But anyway, like, you can do this without even trying. Like, if you want to ask someone out that you like you have a crush, and then you finally kind of muster up the courage to go and talk to them, and then you say like, yeah, do you want to go out with me, like, this weekend? And then at the same time you say, but yeah, like, if you don't want to go, I don't care, like, it's nothing, I don't really care. So, like, the fact that you're asking them on a date says, like, I like you. But then the fact that you're saying, like, I don't care, it's no problem, and you try to act, like, all nonchalant about it, means you don't really like them that much. You don't really care. And then the person, when they hear that, like, will you go on a date with me? But I don't really care if you say no, whatever. They're, like, confused. Because you put the positive and the negative on them, and then they really don't know what to say. And then in this moment, you feel so insecure. You're thinking, they're going to say no. They're going to say no. They're going to say no. And then that image goes to their head, and then they do say no. So that's why, like, awkward guys or girls who have low self-esteem or whatever, which is just an illusion from the dominators. I don't think they really have low self-esteem, but it's like the dominators control their mind to make them think this way. But, yeah, that's why they have such bad luck with relationships. Because they think, I'm so nice, but nobody likes me. That's also a double bind. That's also something either their parents said or, you know, since they were young, like brainwashing them, like, you're such a nice little child, but nobody likes you. I'm the only one who likes you. To make them feel like isolated, basically. Ruin their own children's lives. And like, also, I'm not saying all the parents who do this are evil. You do it without thinking. Because, okay, if your child is unsuccessful, that shows on you too. So it's like also like you're sabotaging yourself in a way. But, yeah. What other examples? Like, yeah. Like when people say, like a lot of girls say to me like, you're so skinny, I'm so jealous, like, but in their minds they're thinking like, you nasty, skinny, you know, and they're jealous. So, well, they're not jealous, they're envious technically, but it's like, you can even do this with the words you're saying. They only say the positive thing, but they mean the opposite in their mind. And when someone's talking to you, you connect to their mind, inevitably. And then, so it's like when someone gives you a bunch of compliments, and then for some reason you feel really bad about it. This is probably usually because that person is lying, and they're, like, attacking you in a way. So I'm saying a lot of girls come up to me and they say like, you're so skinny, I'm so jealous. But in their minds they hate me because they want to feel, because the fact that I'm skinny, like they were brainwashed by someone, by the dominators, but someone they know in society basically, to think like skinny is beautiful. And okay, the average weight, being an average weight, of course that is more attractive, but like, someone told them you can't be beautiful because of whatever reason, and then maybe they can't take care of their own diet because of this negative influence on their life. But then, that's not my fault. I have nothing to do with that. But when they see me, they get reminded, like, you know, of their own insecurities, and then they have to put me down so that they don't get depressed. So they have to take me and try to make me depressed so that they can feel better than me. So they say, oh, you're so skinny, I'm so jealous. But in their mind they think like, you ugly bitch, like, you're so ugly, you're so skinny, it's so ugly. And then if I let their compliments, if I think like, even though I feel in my gut like this person hates me, I feel like all embarrassed and shy. If I try to believe in the good in people's hearts and this bullshit, which isn't true, then I think like it's also a double bind, because I got the negative influence coming in from their brain and then the nice words coming out of their mouth, and then I think like, why do I feel like I hate them even though they're being nice to me? Am I crazy? Am I a bad person? And then I try to like them even more. It makes you try to forgive them in a way, but then you're like, it makes you think about them. The point is they're trying to make you think about them. The more you think about them, the more they can keep abusing you in their mind and sending a bad image of you. And then before you know it, you can't eat anymore and you're turning like anorexic and stuff because they think you're such an ugly skinny bitch. And then whenever you try to eat food, you remember all the people who said like, oh, you're so skinny, I'm so jealous, with a smile on their face. And then like it makes you so sick, their abuse coming in to your brain, that you can't even eat anymore. And this happens to a lot of people. Everyone who's anorexic like knows this. Or yeah, everyone who's anorexic knows this because they are so skinny, and then people say like, and then when they get super skinny, you know, like, and they're looking like deathly and stuff, people say like, oh, you poor thing, like you need help. But even when they act sympathetic, in their mind they're like, you ugly, you're so ugly, ew, why can't you take care of yourself? You're nasty, something's wrong with you. And then they're saying the nice words like, I want to help you, you need help, like I sympathize with you. But in their mind they're putting you down. So they don't help you at all, honestly. So, yeah. There's too many examples for this. But yeah, Doublebinds, you gotta watch out for them. Yeah, I guess that's enough for now. Okay, so yeah, Doublebinds. Watch out. Don't trust anyone.